Hey, this is Andy with City Pinball. I'm going to demonstrate for you how to install the red Barchetta mod that includes the road or the road and grass and a sign. I also have the one-lane bridge option. I'll have a separate video for that. I'm also going to demonstrate in this video at the end how to hook up the lighting if you've ordered the version of this mod that includes lit headlights. Now this mod can come with one or two signs installed on the grass. Here's your sign options. Again, here's your road, your pavement. As you can see, I used a black filament with some sparkle in it to give it that asphalt look. The grassy shoulder version uses the same type, but they mount together differently. Now, depending on which version that you order from me, you're going to also get a little kit with some hardware. If you have the road without lights, you'll get one, grass without lights, and then if you get the road or the grass with lights, it'll come with some extra special hardware, and I'll explain all that at the end. So I'll demonstrate it here with the grassy version that's lit. Installation is relatively easy. Tool-wise, all you need is a screwdriver and your socket wrench with a 5/16 or 8mm socket. You could also use a small box end wrench if you have one, but it's a little bit harder to keep track of the nuts. I always recommend having on hand a magnetic tool in case you drop something, and a little magnetic dish to keep all your hardware together. So let me open up the grassy hardware bag here. Okay, in this bag you'll have 3 zinc screws. Those are the ones we're going to use for the installation. And all this gold hardware and this bulb is for the lighting setup later. Now, if you order the road only option, you will get black screws, 3 black screws, and only 2 black washers. Now, I want to mention that there's only 2 washers because you will not need a washer at this location here. That footprint is small enough where the washer doesn't fit, but you don't need it here. So you'll have a screw only here, and you'll have screws and washers at these locations. Okay, so let's get started. So to do this installation in this back corner here, we need to get good access to this. And as you can see, even with the playfield pulled out a little bit, we don't really have good access back there. So here's a little trick that can get you better access. First thing, of course, I always recommend you cut off the power before you do this work. All right. Now, to get better access, what I have here is a 2x4. It's about 23, 24 inches long. And I'm going to prop up the playfield on this handle in the back here. So you can see my handle I have back here. I'm going to prop this up right here like so. And now that gives us really good access right over here. So you can see I get my hand all back in here so that we can remove this hardware. So to do this installation, we're going to have to remove these 3 screws. You'll note that there's these little spacers in here, and you'll note that the spacers are different lengths. See, this one here is a little bit longer, this one's kind of medium length, and this one here is pretty short. So we need to make sure that when we take those out, we put them back in the right order. Now, the way this mod is set up, this is actually going to mount right on top of this plastic piece. So we're going to get these screws out, and this will mount right on top of this. This will give it a little bit extra support. So we're going to use this. All right, so first things first, we need to remove the screws and the spacers. All right, now, before I do that, I'm going to put a little protection for my side rail right here. It's because I am coming in here with tools, so I don't want to scratch anything. Okay, so when we take this off, I'm going to remove the screw, and I'm just going to grab this little spacer and set it right over here just to get it out of the way. But we know which order that they go in now, so. The reason a socket is good for this is that when the nut drops off, it drops into the socket so you don't lose it. Okay, so the nut dropped into my socket there, so I'm going to dump it into my little dish. And it'll stay over there. Okay, and then I'm going to push this screw up. Grab this screw. All right, now I'm going to grab the bushing, the spacer here. I'm going to pull that out. I'm just going to set it right over here for now so we don't lose it. Now, with the screw that you take out, with the road-only version, you can just set all this aside and use the hardware I gave you. If you have the road with the grassy shoulder, I want you to take the washer off, and you're going to save that washer. We're going to use it, and then the screw you can set aside. Okay, now we'll get the next one. nuts down in the socket. And again, I'm going to push this screw up, and I'm going to carefully get the spacer out of here and set it over here. All right, again, save your washer if you're using the grassy version. Okay, and then the last one, put it in here. Oh, I grew an extra hand. That's my trusty assistant. Okay. Got that nut. Okay, and then I'm going to push this screw up and out. And again, don't lose your spacer. I'm going to let it fall right into the ramp there. Okay. Okay, so once again, hold on to the washer, but the screw you can set aside. Okay, now I got my spacers. Okay, so now it's time to bring in the mod. Now, if you have the lit version, you'll have wire coming out the bottom. That will show you how to hook up later. If yours is not lit, then you just won't have that wire sticking out and it'll look the same aside from that. Okay, so I'm going to get my screws that I sent you and washers, and we're going to try to mate all this up here. So I'm going to take this clear piece that was already there, we're going to set it underneath and just kind of line it up like that. All right, I'm going to take a screw, one of the screws that I gave you, and one of the washers that you removed, and we're going to pass that through the two holes, line them up, pass them through. Oops. Whoa. Okay. Okay, see, I passed it through both holes there. And then we're going to get the short spacer, because that's the one that was here. We're going to slide that up on there as well. Okay. And then I'm going to set that into the hole right here in the ramp. Okay. Now the screws are long enough that it'll hold it all in place for you. We don't have to put the nuts on just yet. Okay, so next you grab your medium spacer. Grab one of the screws I sent you and one of the washers that you removed. And again, if you're on the road only version, you would grab a screw and a washer that I sent because they're black, so they'll disappear a little better. Okay, now this is a little trickier because you got to get the bushing, the spacer underneath between the ramp and the clear plastic piece, and then you feed the screw through like that. Okay, and then you get your long spacer, your last washer, and the last screw. I'm going to do the same thing. So take the spacer, put it between the clear plastic pieces, and feed the screw through all of those. Okay, so now we've got them all in position. Now we just have to reinstall the nuts. Now this is where you really want to take your time, because you have to reach your hand back in here to get this nut on here. So you're going to just thread them on by hand first. Sometimes it helps if you put something sticky on your finger so you can feed your hand underneath here and put the screw on. Okay, I've got that one threaded on. And do the same with the other two, just get them started, and then we'll come back in with the tools and get them installed the rest of the way. Okay, so I got all three of the nuts started. So now I'm going to get my screwdriver and my socket wrench. I'm going to start this one in the back here. Now, because the screws I sent you are all the same length, this one's the longest one, so this one will take you a bit of turning before it gets totally tight. Thank you. Alright, we're almost there. There it goes, nice and snug. Okay, now I'm going to come to the middle one. Again, got your socket underneath. Your screwdriver on top. Okay, that one's snug. And the last one. Okay, snug. All right, so now if you have the version that is not lit, then at this point, you're done. You're totally installed, you're in place, and you're good to go. So thank you for purchasing it. Looks amazing. And here we go. Okay, now if we're gonna do the version that's lit, so you've still got this little wire harness hanging underneath here. Now this is gonna tie into the Super Jackpot light, which is really fun because anytime Super Jackpot lights up or anytime you hit a shot that makes that light up, then the headlights will light up as well. So we're gonna take this piece off and we're gonna replace the light and we're gonna add a little custom fitting that I made to make this all work out. Party bonus, I am going to give you gold hardware instead of the silver zinc that's in there, so that this will blend in and it'll look a lot nicer when it's all installed. So you'll have replacement screws included for these and washers, and of course a replacement screw for this. So let's show you how this is going to go. So that's all part of the kit that I sent you. So the top one that holds the bulb has a nut on the back, same size as the ones we did back here, so you can use your same socket. So I'm going to take this one out first. Okay, it's not very long. Okay, got my nut in there. I'm going to dump that out in my little dish. Alright, then I'm going to take this screw out. Now you won't need this screw and washer anymore because I'm sending you a replacement. Okay, now, so that released the bulb. So now to remove the sign itself, we're going to take these two little screws out. And here, we're going to make this easy. We're going to take this one out. We're going to leave the other one in. Okay, don't lose your washer. Okay, so now, before we take that off, I'm just going to take the gold ones that I gave you. So see, I got a gold washer and a gold screw. And we're going to put these in, and I'm just going to put it right back in there right now. So we don't even have to take the whole sign off. It'll make our life easy. So, thread this one right back in here. These are short screws, so if you have big fingers like me, sometimes it's hard to get them in there. There we go. It's not, oh, you know what I did? Oops, I lost my washer. Okay, so it looks like I bought the wrong size screw. So I'm going to buy the right size screws, and I'm going to send you the right size screws. So when you're done, you're going to have a nice gold finish. So let me put this one back in here. Sorry about that. That's a smaller one. All right, anyway, so when I send you the right size hardware, you'll put them in there, and then you'll have gold ones there. Now, for the bulb, let's talk about the bulb. Okay, so this is the bulb that comes with it, but in order to tie in the lights, we're going to take this bulb out, and I am sending you a Comet bulb that splits off and has a little connector here. So I've designed and printed this special fitting here with the bulb installed, and all this is going to do, this is going to slide right in the back just like that. So now, that always bothered me too, that the other light sticks way out. This is nice and flush now, so that's going to sit right there. And then you're going to take your bulb, I don't know if you can see around the back here, around the back side, we're going to hook this bulb right into the socket like you would any other bulb, just a push and twist. And then you're going to take this piece, fit it in the opening, and then this little spacer here allows you to run a screw on the back side here so it fits all the way through. So it's going to sit like that. Alright, so now you're going to take the screw that I sent you, the long one, it's going to go through this hole, and we're going to look around the back here so you can see how this fits together. Look around the back here. Okay, so this is going to go through the hole into this spacer piece that I made and then through the mount for the bulb, just like that. Okay, and then you're going to take that nut that was on there originally and you're going to put it back on right here. Okay, so now get your socket and we'll put this back on like so. Okay, so now that that's in place, now you have a hookup right here for your lights for your car. So just be careful. You know, I made this the right length so it shouldn't interfere, but just watch out for this switch. You don't want to interfere with this switch if you can help it. So you just take these two pieces and you connect them like so, and now your lights are connected. And back around the front you have a nice golden screw and washer, and then you'll have matching ones down here when I get the right size. And then you're ready to see what your mod looks like. So as you can see, anytime the Super Jackpot light comes on, so do your headlights on your red Barchetta. So once again, I appreciate you supporting Rocket City Pinball. This is the red Barchetta mod. Again, I'll show you in a different video how to install the one-lane bridge if you get that version. And if you'll allow me to, I'll just showcase a couple other quick mods that we have here. We have the awesome vacuum tube bulbs. These are from Space Coast Pinball. And then of course you have my signals mod with the Dalmatian and hydrant. The Presto mod with the rabbit in the hat. And of course, my coin buttons and start buttons. So thanks again for watching Rocket City Pinball. Enjoy your mods.